Let me give you a sneak peek. When you're stages 1 through 3, what you're not trying to do is keep the mind focused on an object. Very interesting. It took me, unfortunately, 20 years to figure this out. Because here's how it looked for 20 years. Teachers, okay, focus on the breath, right? Focus on the breath. And a healthy mind, we now know, a healthy mind will be off of that object in about 3 breaths. That's what a healthy mind does. Why? Because the breath is not the most compelling object to focus on. Have you noticed, right? And we have thousands of years of neural pathways which teach the mind to pay attention to what's the most important thing in the room. And it takes about 3 breaths before the mind is like, this is not it. This is not it. Like, move to something else, you know? So what happened for me for 20 years, and I'm not exaggerating by that, is I would try to focus on the breath, and about 2 breaths in, I'm suddenly in a fantasy about shark attacks. And I'm like, well, I guess if you punch them in the nose, it hurts. And then I'll like call for dolphins and they'll save me, you know, whatever. And just like getting lost in fantasies, or like revenge fantasies, you know, and like, I can't believe that guy said it to me. And, you know, and I'm like lost in some kind of evil revenge fantasy. And then the dinger goes off. And then what did I feel? What do you think I felt? When an hour passed. Yeah, like a failure. An hour passed and I spend an hour in revenge fantasies and shark attacks. Now that's fine for like my first year of meditating, but imagine year 19 and I'm like a meditator and that's still my daily experience, right? I just felt like an absolute failure. And finally I came out of the closet and I told my teacher, listen, you know, and I thought he was gonna like ban me from the community because I was such a loser. I said, listen, I've been meditating for 20 years. I can't get past the 3rd breath on most days, you know? He's like, okay, tell me what's happening for you. And finally, here's what I learned, and I'll leave you with this, in case nobody comes back tomorrow. You can at least take this home to you. Stages 1 through 3, which means that your mind occasionally flies off. Stage 1, your mind is off the object more than on. Means you maybe remember once to focus on the breath, and most of the time you're fantasizing. Stage 2, you're starting to get a couple moments of the breath, like maybe a minute on the breath, and then 20 minutes off the breath, right? Stage 3, you're starting to be, a little continuation. I was just with the breath for 5 minutes or something, right? Stages 1 through 3, the only really thing you're developing at that point is rejoicing when you wake up. Rejoicing when you have what the fancy word is introspective awareness. And introspective awareness is like, shark attack is like, oh, I'm supposed to be meditating. What just happened in the mind? Why did we just wake up to that? You know, it's that same thing of like, I'm a farmer, I have a lavender farm, and I'll be driving into town, right? And I'm just thinking about what I have to do when I get into town. And all of a sudden, some little light comes on. You left the Westfield hoses on. I'm like, oh, God, I got to turn around, drive 30 minutes back to the farm and turn the hose off, right? What is it in the mind that suddenly remembers? That's fascinating. And what I did for 20 years was train my mind not to have that happen because I associated it with failure. You see what I mean? Every time my mind woke up, I thought, I suck, right? So awakening and I suck became together, and I was training my mind then not to awaken. So it wasn't mysterious. I wish I had come out of the closet earlier, because all I had to do was just I reorient towards failure and appreciate that awakening moment. And as soon as I could appreciate that awakening moment, then the training started to happen where I would awaken more often. Now that awakening, as small as it is, that's an awakening of like, oh, I'm supposed to be meditating. That has the exact same anatomy as larger awakenings. So you're habituating yourself to that. So I think let's call it quits there. I'm sorry to go a little bit over. And you're all probably hungry, but we should have plenty of time for food. Really quick, in the last 2 minutes, any questions about any of that?